Welcome, everybody, to another episode of AATBirds Weekly Report. I got myself two special guests. We have Peenut from Birds Beers NBS podcast that's on the YouTube channel with Eagle Jeff Warner. He's joining us. And we have Joe Pepe from a lot of different fantasy sites. I will say that. Looking it up, I was like, wow, he does a lot. Fantasy Pros, Fantasy Data NFL, Triple Play Fantasy, you have Club Fantasy Football. Celeb boxing. So you working out with, getting yourself
getting ready, man.
Yeah, you got a lot of stuff going on. But thanks for joining us.
No, thank you. Love coming on with you guys. So I'm always in, especially if we're gonna talk Eagles. I do it anyway. I might as well come on with you guys.
Exactly. First day of training camp.
Listen, it was just popping off. My Twitter today was just firing off the beautiful passes, the AJ Brown, which I know we're gonna talk about. Little things here and there. I saw a Quez Watkins thing. It was beautiful. I loved it.
Training camp's always beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not as good.
Everybody's a superstar. Everybody's a superstar.
You're right there. It was not as good as when it used to be at Lehigh, but again, it's at the NovaCare complex. Yeah, everyone is a superstar. You got some Paul Turner and Henry Josie and Rasheed Bailey, all those wonderful training camp names, preseason one-hit wonders. But I had to bring that up just because that's always the key thing is everyone like you said, everyone looks great. Everyone is a superstar. But I want to bring up something that we posted a few days ago, something that came to our attention and something that we're starting to get out there because we only have a limited amount of time. And it is right here. We're coming for you, Carson. The Fedex Field. It's the Philly Sports Trips. It's the bus to Fedex Field, to Maryland, to the dump. Okay. Yeah. It is a dump. It's the way it is. But it's going to be an awesome time. And we have, for anyone in the Lehigh Valley, in the, Lehigh Valley, Berks, that type of area, not that far from the Allentown area, we have a bus leaving on September 25th, Sunday, early in the morning, around 6:15 area in the morning. But it's an awesome time. There's a lot of stuff going on. They have Hollis Thomas is going to be there at the tailgate. As you can see in the picture, you have 4th and John, E-Rock. You have this Philly sports guy, Bell and the Birdman's all going to be there. There's a lot of people going to be there. They have Vince Rizzuto, who runs Philly Sports Trips, message me. They have 485 Eagles fans signed up so far.
That's dope.
To go to DC. They got a bunch of buses, everything. They want to take over FedEx Field. And it's a full tailgate catered. For us, it's $335. You can make $99 deposit, sign up by the end of the month. For the rest is due. And it comes with lower level ticket. The bus there and back. You get catered food. You get unlimited cold beverages. You get, we said there's also other potential giveaways that they haven't announced yet. But you have DJ entertainment. You have everyone gets a t-shirt, koozie, and of course, like I said, other giveaways that are coming. So definitely don't miss out. If you have any questions, you can message myself or message the page. We can give you all the information that you do need. And the link is in the bio. You want to click on that link to be able to sign up to get the bus in the Lehigh Valley location. But space is limited, so make sure that you get your deposit in, you get your spot secured, and
get it while the getting's good.
What do you say?
Yeah.
Get it while the getting's good.
Yeah, exactly. Get it while the getting's good. And I wanted to bring that up as the thing when we start the show, but we're going to talk some training camp. We're going to talk the Philadelphia Eagles. And what do you guys feel on training camp? What are your favorite things come training camp time? Go ahead. If Peenut, you can go first.
Oh, okay. Defense, man. We got a whole new defense. I think a lot of people are excited about the offense and AJ Brown and Quez, and yeah, I get that. But my main thing is this new rebuilt defense under the vision of what Gannon wanted to do. I want to see how that defense performs. I want to see. I want to hear more about the defense. I feel like we're not hearing much about them. If it's just me, like we're hearing a lot about what Hurts is doing. We're hearing a lot about what these receivers are doing, the O-line, but I feel like there's this void of defense being talked about, which is either scary or great, but I'm looking forward to seeing how this defense comes together during training camp into the preseason. That's my answer.
Listen, I like that. I'm all about the defense. My biggest thing is waiting for the day to be over and not seeing a single tweet about who's injured. That is always the first thing for me. I just don't want to see any names from the Eagles every single day. So I kind of hold my breath all day, but then I'm all about the defense. Like you said, like we grew up with Jim Johnson. We watched those defenses. I loved when we had that smash mouth defense that you were afraid of and you didn't want to play. Now imagine if we could take that and marry it to an offense that has an A.J. Brown, a Devonta Smith, a Jalen Hurts, and a plethora of running backs, especially, and with Dallas Goedert, who keeps getting forgotten about. Yep. We have, and I'm not saying the term that Vince Young said, I refuse to do it, I'm superstitious, but we have a very, very good team. So if we could stay healthy, I'm all for it. But I am, as a fantasy guy, I'm keeping an eye on that running back situation. Like Miles Sanders, I really like Gainwell late. I just want to see how it's breaking down through practice because that's going to let me know if I want to grab them or not.
No, that's smart. And, you know, I like seeing all the tweets. Of course, all the beat writers have their little ways to kind of basically get the clicks. I know there's a few out there that like to do certain little things they like to say or post or anything like that. But I love it. I love seeing the video we talked about, you know, the AJ Brown and all that. I love seeing all that stuff with the training camp. But you know, some positives. You know, Brandon Graham's out there with no knee brace. He says he feels great. You know, that's awesome because he's a leader on that defense. And we saw what happened when he got hurt last year in the second game of the season, and the way that Jonathan Gannon had to basically rearrange the defense and rearrange the scheme and rearrange what they had to do on the defensive side of the ball because they couldn't do what they wanted to do without BG in there. And it's great to see him back there. Yeah. The rookies, you know, everything like that. I had a couple notes. I'll start with the first couple, and then we can kind of discuss a little bit. Now, the Eagles were missing some players from COVID progression. Those players were these new names and COVID progression.
Okay.
Jason Kelce, Fletcher Cox was limited because apparently he was sick a week or two ago. Anthony Harris was limited. Carrick Wheatfall, Zach Pascal was also not at camp due to an illness. Eagles ran versions of the 3-4, 4-3, and 4-3. So kind of Peanut's point there about the defense. Again, sticking with the defense, Kayvon Wallace took first team safety reps next to Marcus Epps. Wow. Now, Anthony Harris wasn't there. He was limited. So that's a big reason. But Jaquiski Tart and Andre Chachere were the second team safeties. So we can kind of go there. Now this is big for Kayvon Wallace because this is his time to kind of show what he can do. This is his third season and he needs to pick it up. Needs to stay healthy and not be injured. But what do you guys feel on those two things? Running the different versions, the 3-4, 4-3, and then of course the Kayvon Wallace stuff.
I'll let Pepe answer. Go ahead, Pepe. You go first.
So the whole 3-4, 4-3, I kind of like when teams can flip-flop between them. Now, I'm not saying do it like, you know, every other drive or anything like that, but just having that wrinkle to make the offensive coordinator of the other team have to work that much harder to figure out where things are coming from and how we're going to attack them. I think that's beautiful. And like you said, we had all the names, you know, you just do out for the safety positions and whatnot. That's the only spot we got to figure out in my eyes for this defense. Like we just fixed up the linebackers through the draft and the signings. Obviously, the cornerbacks are solidified, the line solidified. If the safety play is just adequate, we're going to be a very scary defense. And we are Philadelphia. We come from the Brownie Dawkins love. We want a safety. It's just who we are. So, I mean, also kudos on saying the one guy's name, Chachere or whatever, because I can never get that right. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the co-hosts, Chip, calls it charcuterie. I don't know why. It's just, but
if we work on that safety play and like it's adequate, like and like you said, like everybody can, like it's all rotations anymore. You're not just getting one guy all the time. You're going to get people rotating in now. all we need is adequate. We do not need it to be, the best in the league. We just need adequate. And I know I'm not asking for much, but it's been rough the last couple of years. So I'm keeping an eye on that. And I just want to see, like you say, they stay healthy, and I want to see them produce.
Yeah. And, still talking about the defense here also brings more points to what we want to see. TJ Edwards and Kaiser White were the Eagles linebackers in their nickel package. Brandon Graham and Josh Sweat lined up at the edge. So it's showing you that, to me, I think Graham's going to be used a multitude of ways. He's going to be used stand up. He's going to rush on the edge. He's going to rush inside. He's going to do a number of things. I think Josh Sweat being able to be a stand-up rusher, they used him a little bit like that last year. I think it's going to really benefit him because of how long he is. Yeah. His arms it's just like, it just goes for days. And I just think that's going to benefit his game and what he can do with this defense, because I love to have all these different packages. And TJ Edwards and Kaiser White, you actually have linebackers, and I just love it. You haven't seen linebacker play like this in years. Years. Like, TJ Edwards is looking really in shape. I know he posted a picture on, I think it was Instagram or Twitter, one of those. And then, Kaiser White is a type of linebacker that we haven't seen. He has the speed, but he actually has the skill set too. It's not like Nate Gary, where it has some speed and just has basically no instincts.
Jerry, they're like, yo, that dude Nick Jerry. They're like, Gary? I'm like, ew.
Yeah. I never got his name right. I was just like, that dude Nate. Like, that's what I went with.
That's why he called himself the Snake. Yeah. Adam checking in.
Yo,
what's up, Adam? It was another interesting thing that they talked about, and I know they even said it, but then of course you saw it, was Isaac Seumalo lined up at right guard to start the day. And they mentioned in the press conferences that the right guard job is Seumalo's. So it's Seumalo's to lose. Now you have Jack Driscoll. We talk about the defense and offensive lines, and I feel like that's the strength of this team. And of course, that's the way I feel you need to build your team. You have to build your team from the inside out. You build through the lines, and then you supplement with other playmakers on the outside. But of course, you want to have solid offensive and defensive lines. And I feel like the Eagles have that. And even their backup lines are pretty strong right now.
Hopefully we don't see them.
Yeah. I don't want to see them, but we've had so many injuries. Yeah, we've had so many injuries that they've had, decent time to get in there, some of them. So that's good. But I just don't want to see them again. That's all.
Yeah,
we don't want to see that.
And just for that COVID progression thing, not that I want anyone to get it, but if we're going to get it, let's get it now in preseason and get it all out of the way. Like, I don't even know what COVID progression is. I just call it COVID. So I don't know if the rules change on that one.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess if something you have it and then all of a sudden you're getting better, I guess that's the progression part. I don't know. I'm guessing.
That's all preseason. I don't care about winning those games anyway.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the chicken pox. You all just sit in a room together for the moment. That's all I want.
Yeah.
Just catch it now so that we don't have to worry about it later.
Yes. That's my goal, at least.
To touch on, not to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
But to touch on that defense thing, like from us going from a 4-3 to basically a hybrid defense where we can get into that 3-4, aren't you guys a little nervous that maybe we're trying to do a little too much too soon with all these new players? Is there a level of concern with maybe we're overthinking this whole defensive scheme year one with these new players? Not year one with Gannon, but I mean with the linebacking core, the cornerbacks that we've gotten. Do you think it's too much too quick, or do you think it's probably best to just throw them in the deep water to see what happens, just to basically like sink or swim?
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay. So, I mean, for me, you get nervous when you're trying to throw everything at the board. It's just with anything in life. But for me, I'd rather do it now. I'd rather test it in the preseason. We know what we have done in the past, so we can always revert back into that if we need to. But at least if we throw it on tape, these teams have to now go study it. Gotcha. And that's all I'm kind of hoping for out of it. Even if we run 4-3, 3-4, and then in the season we end up just picking one and doing that all the way through, I'm fine with it. I just want to keep people on their toes a little bit because, like you said, we have all these new people. And I think everybody's like us, like, wow, they got these new quarterbacks, these new linebackers. How are they going to perform? I want their brains running as much as our brains are running right now. So I just want them to see everything. And then my players know, like, hey, when we get to the season, this is what we're doing. This is like going to be our core, just how the offense starts with their core 15 setup. I kind of want the defense to know this is going to be our beginning setup, and we'll make adjustments from there.
And the way I see it is, 3-4, 4-3. I think they're going to run even like a 4-2. You don't see a lot of 3 linebackers on the field anymore. So you could have a 4-2 type of scheme where you have 2 defensive tackles, 2 edge rushers, and then 2 linebackers. And it's still a different scheme. It's almost like a 3-4, or you can even have a guy like Hargrave, Davis, Cox, and then Hassan Reddick as your edge rusher, and then 2 linebackers. So I think they're going to do a multitude of things. And, Adam has a question here. What scheme do we think they're going to run, which is what we're talking about. So it kind of answers his question of what we kind of think that they're going to do. They're going to test it out. And I feel if you watch the Atlanta game, I know I've mentioned it in previous shows, if you watch that game and you watch the defense, they were trying to do different things because they had the personnel in terms of healthy bodies. They didn't have everything that you wanted to see because, again, it was a retooling, rebuilding, whatever you want to call it, type of season that they were just seeing what they have and seeing what would work with what they want to run. And after the BG injury, it kind of went to the wayside. But they have the personnel to be able to do kind of what they want. You look at the draft, look at the players they drafted, you look at the free agents they signed. I think it leads to Jonathan Gannon. And honestly, I don't think Jonathan Gannon's going to be here next year because I think he's going to get a head coaching job. So, for me, this is his last year as a defensive coordinator, and let's see what he can do with the scheme and what they can do as a whole, because that's what Eagle football is. It's defense. We know that.
Yeah.
Jim Johnson, Buddy Ryan, you look at the defenses through the history, and it's always been a smash mouth type of defense, and we haven't seen that in the previous years of Billy Davis's and Jim Schwartz had his. It wasn't bad. It was okay. It wasn't terrible.
But the wide 9, man, that was the best we've ever
had. That's what scares me the most, because the wide 9 was like the second coming of the 4-6, and I'm like, you know what? And when it didn't work out, and everyone's talking about this hybrid, I'm like, it's almost like the repeat of history. You got Sanders saying all-star team. Thank God AJ Brown corrected that. Maybe he stopped the bad juju.
Hopefully.
But there's a nervousness I have for this defense where I'm like, I've seen this wide 9 and these other experimental things happen, and it never really ended right for us. You know what I mean?
The wide 9 had to be the dumbest thing I've ever seen, though. It was like somebody was using their Madden controllers on the defensive end, but didn't know how to play football, so they just kind of ran the guy out all the way to the cornerback. Like, it was like the
Jason
dumbest
Babin.
thing. You would see it on the screen.
I think of Jason Babin. That's it. It's here wide 9.
That wide 9 fit him perfectly.
Yeah, because he didn't do anything but just run up the field. So they just ran right at him because there was a wide gaping hole you could drive a truck through.
And you could see it from the TV screen. Like, you just feel like they're going to go left. They're right there in that hole.
Yep.
Oh, man. Yeah, but that scares me. That does scare me a little bit. Like, like you said, like, we've had these, little flashbacks, almost kind of like PTSD of Vince Young saying stuff, and the wide 9 and all this stuff, and you're like, oh, for the love of God, just get very PC about your answers. We're gonna play hard, we're gonna train hard, we're gonna go week by week. Just shush. I don't want to hear it. Let's try to come under the radar. I know it's not gonna happen because we have all these new names, but for the love of my superstitious side, please, nobody say those 2 words that Vince Young said.
Amen.
Yeah. And speaking of quarterbacks, it leads into what I want to get to next. And, talk about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts' day. His first set in the red zone, 11 on 11 reps. It was 4-4, 2 touchdowns. One of them went to Gainwell, who avoided 3 defenders. The other went to Brown. I know we've seen some video of that in the corner of the end zone. Rager scored a touchdown on a Gardner Minshew shovel pass. So that both quarterbacks are, getting involved there. But Jalen threw a back shoulder fade touchdown to Quez Watkins, who I really think is going to have a pretty big season because he's going to not have as much attention on him, and he can kind of work in the slot, work on the outside, can do a couple of different things. He outmuscled Maddox to make the catch. So, I like what I'm seeing. Gainwell, I feel, is another option that I think is going to get a lot more play, especially in the receiving game because of the type of running back and type of receiver that he is. But Jalen Hurts being able to progress is the biggest question to be answered this training camp, this preseason, into this season. You agree with me?
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt, there's, on the fantasy side, on the regular side, it's just the biggest question all around. I think he does. What do you have? 16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions last year. Mm-hmm. So we know where the quote unquote floor is. He's just got to do a little better than that. If he ends up at 20-something and 10, but keeps his rushing total touchdown around where it was, I know that they're Xing a lot, but I'll take that. I'll take 23 and 10 with those. What do you have? 10 rushing touchdowns, 8 rushing touchdowns?
Yeah, 10 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, so if he scores 33 total touchdowns, ball game. I'll take that. I'll be happy with that all day.
Yeah. I just,
I'm thinking high here, man.
I want to.
Hey.
Your face though is like, I'm so concerned, but I want to.
I want to. You hear these stories, and then back of my mind, I'm like, there's gonna be a D-gun leak that Jalen Hurts had diarrhea on the 10-yard line or some crazy story. It's gonna derail the whole thing. So I'm always waiting for that other foot to drop, and I guess it's because of the way it's been recently within the last couple of years. But I'm trying to give him the benefit of doubt. I agree with Johnny on the Quez Watkins thing. With the guy's speed, if he can get off the line, he's basically going to be the one that's open the majority of the game. So if he can catch contested balls on one-on-ones, then that's a big plus. But like I said, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to be pessimistic, but there's a part of me that's just like, something's gonna happen.
Dude, it's Philadelphia. You're 11. We are pessimistic at the same point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Listen, I fully agree with all that. The one thing I really need to see from Jalen Hurts, though, is his deep ball. And everybody could drop every stat they want in the world of his completion was this or that or that. I could go to the library, write a 10-page paper, and come back before that ball lands in the receiver's hand. So I need a better deep ball with him. And like you said, John, what Quez Watkins should see almost no coverage in a sense. And we've seen him get free on those deep balls, and he played pretty well last year. If Jalen Hurts could just be a little better with that deep ball for me and get it off his hand faster, because I think he overthinks it sometimes and waits just a second too long, that could be a very scary, not the Deshaun Jackson level, but something like that.
Yeah, and for me, the way I'm looking at this offense, and you look at Dallas Goedert, and you look at where you can put Quez Watkins, and they like to say, oh, well, he's going to be a slot guy because you have Devontae Smith and you have AJ Brown on the edges, on the outside. I wouldn't be surprised if they put Quez on the outside line, match him one-on-one. You put a guy as big as Dallas Goedert and AJ Brown in the slot, or even you could put Devontae, because they're not going to be able to press Devontae in the slot. He could work his magic in doing that. But for me, there's so many options that they're going to have. And, Miles Sanders, if he gets back to his 2019 level of catching the ball and running the ball and doing both, not just rushing, because he's still doing well rushing over 5 yards a carry last year, and what he can do, he just got to stay healthy. But if he can get his game back to the mold of 2019, where he can get out of the backfield, catch the ball, he can run the ball. And the last couple of years, he's been running a little more, not nonchalant, like not sure where he wants to go. A lot more. Exactly. And I just think that if he can put it together, again, it's a contract year. So for him to put it together, he's going to make himself some money. But
yeah,
I just think that everything is lining up for Jalen Hurts. And, the way I also think it, I think about it and think to myself, don't you wish, like Donovan McNabb's third year, he had this many weapons and this many targets and be able to, and it's just, you look at that and you like, they're putting the pieces around him. Even Carson Wentz, looking at the pieces that they finally put stuff around him in 2017, and then they just fell off and they got hurt and they didn't really put enough around him in those following years. But I just think they have the pieces that they are plugging in, hoping the puzzle lines up and becomes complete. We just got to make sure all these puzzle pieces fit right. Make sure they're not backwards, make sure they're not wet and soggy, that they don't fit in right. We got to make sure that they all fit.
Yeah. And you said it. I mean, like you said it earlier, you build from the inside out, you build your lines, you build out from there. And for me, with like franchises, you try to win while you have that quarterback on that really dirt cheap contract. So we have both of those things coming in. Plus, we did like what we did with T.O. We got a stud receiver. Like you could kind of see the same thing from the past building up here. So I think deep down, we're all excited about that. We just need Jalen Hurts, and the play that sticks in my head, and I know you're both going to realize, and I'm sure anybody watching this is going to realize it, in the playoffs when Devonta Smith was open for like an hour, and then Jalen Hurts took forever in the corner to throw him the ball, and the defender came all the way back and broke it up. He just needs to pull the trigger. Just pull the trigger. Like you see the guy, trust yourself, throw the ball. That's all I'm hoping for this year.
There was another play, I think it was the end of the first half, where he threw it and it took forever, and the safety came over and picked it off too. So it's, it's that timing. And I feel like that's big on him. If he can get his timing down, like he doesn't have to have the strongest arm in the world. A guy like Drew Brees did not have a strong arm, but his timing was impeccable. Yeah. If you're on time and you know where to go and you know where the guy's cutting, when that matches up, and hopefully having AJ Brown, because he's a friend. And AJ Brown was talking how he's up early. They're watching film. They're trying to get better and better and better. And just the excitement. Like I tweeted about the picture of Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown together, gives me those 2004 vibes. I don't know. It just gives me those vibes with the quarterback receiver, working in tandem. And maybe first game in the preseason, he has to go deep to AJ Brown like T.O. and McNabb did against the Ravens,
Make a statement.
Exactly. Make a statement. I'd love to see it.
Just shut us up that first pass play. We can do another show where I'll be like, I had no doubt he was going to do this.
Yeah, we scrubbed this episode. We just throw that one out instead.
Just blur my face out like on those crime series. And give me a fake voiceover. I was never on that show. It never happened.
I think Jalen Hurts has the chance now to have that extreme confidence to rely on his timing a little more. He's going to have a bruiser type receiver like AJ Brown. He's going to have a guy who just runs beautiful route with Devonta Smith, in my opinion. You have your tight end safety valve down the middle who has a lot of talent. You got your deep ball and Quez Watkins. Got 10,000 running backs in the backfield. There's not really anything kind of missing here. And like I know he's not a big name, but I actually like Zach Pascal here to join in here and there. Like, thank God we're not relying on him. Like, thank God we got AJ Brown. But I like him to bring in. To be honest, I like him to just not have to deal with Jalen Reagor. To be honest with you, I don't want to rely on having to try to bring that in just because he was first round capital. Like, bring him in when we have to bring him in.
He's a big physical guy too. So like these screen passes, the running game, he brings a lot to the fold. I agree on that one.
Put Zach Pascal here, AJ Brown here, screen pass, let Pascal go in front and block.
Yeah, there you go.
Right down the thing. Whenever they want to sign me to, right up play, I'm here.
Well, Pascal is very good in the red zone as well. So it's a player, a big-bodied receiver it's good in the red zone that helps them, because the red zone was a little bit of an issue when you start to get down there and everything shrinks. It's like getting into a cold pool. George Costanza, it shrinks. You got shrinking. So you need players like that, and he succeeded with Nick Sirianni as the offensive coordinator in Indianapolis. So hopefully he can bring a little bit of that magic in the red zone for the Eagles.
Yeah. I mean, in that scenario, for me, like just thinking offhand, like you use Quez to get down there, you flip out him and Pascal, and now you have AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, and Pascal running around in the red zone. All three guys I like in the red zone, and I'm fine with that. I don't hate Quez there. You can still obviously use him, but Zach knows that system very well too, so he could plug right in.
You got to think about when everyone's talking about Hurts' accuracy down the field. Like if you're watching the game, you're seeing these offensive plays being broken up and him breaking out of that pocket. So by that point, if he's not on the same page as these wide receivers, these balls are going to get thrown behind. They're going to get thrown in front. This isn't the play that they call. If they can get on the same page and they look, if I'm breaking to this side, I need you to do that. You know what I mean? Just those little nuances. I think that'll help Jalen Hurts out. I just think a lot of his problem is when the plays break down, he doesn't know where to go with the ball. So we'll see if that gets fixed, especially with a friend like AJ Brown that he's been working out with for this long. Maybe they're, psychokinesis or whatever is linked to the point where he's like, oh, play's broken down. Let me run back this way. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot that plays into his inaccuracies and his
if we can get one guy to be the Tyler Lockett to Jalen Hurts being Russ Wilson,
yep,
we're good. So that when that play breaks down, he knows, hey, I'm just gonna go. Like, you hit me down there, you'll know where I'll be. Like, we need that one guy for Jalen, and that could be Devonta Smith too. It's their second year together now. They've had time together, so I like the fact that he has all this chemistry with so many people right now.
Yeah, I mean, they basically built the team for the guy. Like,
yeah. I mean, I hope, and then if it doesn't work, we have those 2 picks, and we just build the team is built for the new guy.
Yep.
Yeah, they're doing good things there. Yeah, I want some fun football.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I want some fun football. That's what I want. The last year I thought was the end of the season, going in, making the playoffs. I thought that run was fun. It was enjoyable. Seeing that 2020 was absolutely awful. 2019, the start of the year was terrible. It ended, a little fun. Those all those wins and then the playoff game, of course, wasn't fun. 2018 started out the same way, that slow start and everything like that. But I want to get your guys, last week, Mike and I talked about some sleepers who were wanting to see what players we think. I'm going to go, who do you think is a sleeper? I'll say a sleeper player that, could potentially make the 53-man roster that some people may not be thinking about.
Boy.
No, I want to hear that. I want to hear this now. Go.
I think Jalen Reagor makes his roster, man. I don't think he gets traded. I think he stays playing for this team. I think, first of all, nobody wants him. So at that point, I think he's going to be the sleeper surprise because he's going to be it's make or break for this guy. You know what I'm saying? So I expect the best out of him, and he will be playing for the Philadelphia Eagles. If not, like I said, blur my face out. On the bottom, I never said it, but that would be my like. I was talking to a coworker, and I said the same thing, and he was like, "Dude, you're stupid." I'm like, he's not going anywhere. We're not going to get rid of him. We're going to plug him in, and he'll probably produce. Especially now that he's not the number one guy, maybe the pressure's off him a little bit because a lot of Jalen Reagor's problems were a lot of it was mental. A lot of it was he has the physical traits, the speed. He has the size. It's all up. The one muscle that he needs to work on is his brain. So I'm going to say Jalen Reagor.
So I have this little proposition for you. On your show with Jeff, if Jalen Reagor does make the 53-man roster, I think every week that you do a show that he's still on the team, you got to do a segment called Reagor Bombs.
I'll do it. That would be great. Patent that. I'll do it too. You know me, Johnny. I'll do that.
I know.
All I can hear now, and I'm going way back in video land. That guy who would do Jaeger bombs.
Yeah.
Jaeger bombs. That, it's in my head now. That's all I can think about.
If he catches 2 catches, if he gets 2 catches a game, I'll do a Reagor bomb. Like, oh, there it is.
He gets 2 catches in the season. I'll do Reagor bomb. But the guy I'm looking for, and now you guys are gonna have to help me because I have never heard his last name pronounced, and I'm gonna get it wrong. That tight end that we got in the 5th round, Grant
Calcaterra.
Thank you. I could not get it in my head, and I couldn't get myself to look down long enough to type it in. But I'm excited to see what he could do. I was reading some things about him before the draft, and I'm not saying he was a world beater in any sense. I'm not gonna pretend he's Travis Kelce out here. But I do like our team when we have 2 tight ends. And I know this isn't the Doug Peterson era anymore, but Doug Peterson made Frank Wright. Frank Wright makes Nick. Everybody likes to use tight ends in that little, trifecta there. I don't mind having a tight end that I can rely on as a backup in case Dallas Goedert does go down. I kind of want to see what this guy does. And I don't know, like, I didn't see anything from camp today about him. He's obviously further down the thing, so he's got to earn his reps and all that fun stuff. But I'm going to keep an eye out on him because we have depth in the wide receiver role, but Dallas Goedert and then nobody, basically. So I kind of want to see where it goes.
Wait. We got J-Joe. Isn't he a tight end now? Can I change my answer? Hold on.
No, you cannot.
No.
No.
But you bringing him up I like that because there is something, Gardner Minshew he saw him, on the post route down the middle of the field, hit Grant Calcaterra for a touchdown. So there was a little Grant Calcaterra.
I knew you would know. You would know. So I didn't see his name up there. And no, you cannot bring up JJ Arcega-Whiteside. You're not allowed to bring him up. If I say it 2 more times, he shows up here.
Yeah, like the boogeyman.
We can't. No. No, he's not allowed to be announced anywhere.
But no, I think that's a good one because you look at Dallas Goedert, and Dallas Goedert does everything. He can block, he can run routes, he does so many things. They have Jack Stoll, but Jack Stoll is more of a blocking type of tight end. And a lot of people say, well, they're not going to run with 2 tight ends because you look at the Colts, Mo Alley Cox and Jack Doyle. They had 2 tight ends that, Jack Doyle was, a good player, and Mo Alley Cox was a good player. None of them were of Dallas Goedert caliber, but they still had 2 tight ends. And if you have a guy like Grant Calcaterra, who was at Oklahoma, was a very talented player. He had some injuries, concussion. He did retire, then came back, played at SMU with one of our co-hosts' favorite quarterbacks, Tanner Mordecai. I just think his name, and I feel like you look at the tight end group, Richard Rodgers was put on the PUP list. He's basically going to go on the practice squad and just sit there in case they need an extra tight end for a week.
I didn't even know we had him still.
I think he's only like 27 too. I don't think he's 28. Yeah, he's not that old. You'd think he's like 35 years old because he's been in the league, when Aaron Rodgers was less of a head case than he is now coming in.
I'm older than him? That's upsetting.
Oh, never mind. I lied. He's 30. He just turned 30.
I'm still older than him.
So
not me.
He's still but no, I like that. I like that pick because you look at this tight end group and Tyree Jackson, another young guy that they had some hope for. He's on the PUP list. He tore his ACL week 18 last year. So he had 2 tight ends going on the PUP list. And the Eagles made some roster moves, some minor moves. Camp started. They signed center Cam Tom. They signed Lance Lenore Jr., who was in the USFL Michigan Panthers. They released Josh Hammond. They released with a non-injury Noah Ellis, defensive tackle. They signed Kobe Smith, the defensive tackle. Maybe they're just trying to get a Philly vibe with Kobe. And then Jaden Graham on tight end because they need some bodies there, depending on how long Rodgers and Jackson are on. They need some bodies when come to the preseason.
Yeah.
But I look, and one player that I'll bring up, I want to see Kennedy Brooks. That big type of running back that I think this offense does need, of kind of what Jordan Howard brought to the table the last couple of seasons. Now, Jordan Howard is out there. I think he's kind of out there. If they want
Stay out there,
they can go ahead and sign him because he had a tryout with the New Orleans Saints, and the Eagles did sign a running back, and then they didn't sign him, Jaquan Hardy, who played with Dallas last year from Tiffin, a bigger running back. But Kennedy Brooks is that bruiser. Let's see what he can do. He's not an all-world athlete, in the backfield there, but I feel like he can fall forward for you. He can.
You're trying to make my life harder, Johnny. Like, if he ends up in the picture too, you know how hard it's going to be for me to write daily fantasy sports articles about the Eagles running backs. Can we not have any more? There's like 22 of them. Jordan Howard's going to stroll back in, do the Macarena, and leave again. Like, that's what he does. He shows up for like a game to piss me off. Like, I'll be all happy for the Eagles if we have yet another running back. But personally, for like my writing journalism side, God, I hope not.
What about Devin Allen? The track star.
I love speed, so he could stay around. But like, again, just too many people. Just give me Gainwell. I need Gainwell from a selfish standpoint in a lot of dynasty leagues. I need Gainwell, so I'm just hoping he kind of pops off.
Okay. Now I'm going to throw it this way because I did this last week. Was who could be a surprise trade or cut that some people may not see coming?
Ooh, that's a tough
And
one.
no, JJ Arcega-Whiteside and Jalen Reagor can't be a surprise.
I already said Rager's going to be playing for us, and J. Jaw is going to be a starting tight end. So let's not even go there.
Wait, hold on. Are you talking about the Philadelphia Eagles or the Philadelphia Stars?
yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
You know what? For me,
Mind you, I was kidding.
Yeah, sure.
I think a surprise trade, a late trade, would be Sanders. I mean, it would make
I
sense.
mean, yeah,
It would make sense.
That'll work. That'd be perfect for him because it gives Gainwell more play for him. Look at him.
yeah. That's where I was going. So go for it, man. Go.
Oh, nice. I mean,
Yeah.
get him while the getting's good. You know what I mean? You're going to get more value out of him this year as opposed to you're not going to get any value actually next year because you know what I mean with contracts and whatnot. So trade Sanders now, give some of these young guys some more playing time, and give Sanders what he wants, where he's going to go to a team where he's going to get the money he wants and the touches he wants. So
Yeah, I mean,
Sanders.
I think that's a great one. That's the one I'd probably go with too. Gainwell was brought in by this coach through the draft, so let's just say Gainwell starts really popping off, and he provides the same thing that Miles Sanders is providing you at that time. And you have guys like Brooks, and you want to bring back Jordan Howard to piss me off. Sure, bring him back. But if you have all these guys, and let's just say I'm just going to throw a random running back out there, Josh Jacobs goes down, and you can go to the Raiders and say, "Here's Miles Sanders for the year. Good luck. Give us some capital." I'm not mad at that. It's a running back thing. And for me, another thing that we talked inside out and a young quarterback, another thing for a successful franchise for me is a cheap but talented running back room. Yeah. So we're not going to pay him anyway. We're not giving him the money, especially with every time that he has to sit out every year and how he drops balls here and there now. So if the opportunity presents itself, don't do it just to do it. But if somebody tears an ACL, like a Titans, like a Derrick Henry or something like that, even though they did get I cannot think of his name right now, but they got that guy in the draft, just go shop him. Somebody gets hurt, shop him, see what you can get from him. Howie's pretty damn good at trades. He can't draft a receiver usually, but he's pretty damn good at trades. So I'll trust him to do that. So I'm going to go with Miles Sanders too.
Okay. One player I'll throw out is a player that I mentioned earlier, and you know, it's his job to lose, and if he loses it, I can see him being dealt as Isaac Seumalo. If Jack Driscoll looks pretty good, and they like Jack Anderson, who's back behind him, Suo Pet is there. I know they wanted to try Cam Jurgens at some guard. I feel like just keep him at backup center, let him learn that position. They have Coyote Awasika. They like him. They got him from Buffalo last year. There's some players there, and if Seumalo doesn't win this job, and Driscoll looks a lot better, plays a lot better, I don't really think they want to have a $5 million backup guard on the roster. And you get rid of him, you save some cap space, cut some money to your cap, and then you get him. Maybe you get a mid-late round pick. So be it. But I like Seumalo. I hope he stays healthy. I hope he plays great. But again, Jack Driscoll has showed that he can play on the right side, can play right tackle, can play guard. He can do a number of things on that offensive line. Of course, he just has to be able to stay healthy, and that's the biggest thing. And one thing I know, when Chip and Jeff and Mike we talked about certain players and everything. One thing that they've always said is, yes, it's great to be able to have all this depth, trading it away, and then all of a sudden you're stuck in a position where you trade Seumalo away, Driscoll's there, then Driscoll gets hurt, and then now you have Jack Anderson as your starting right guard because Nate Herbig is no longer there. He's now with the Jets. You got rid of him, and he's on the Jets now. So I think
you gotta be careful.
If a team gets someone goes down, Seumalo could be a surprise trade.
Yeah, I like that one. It's like you said, you got to be careful, especially with like the way that apparently our offense and defensive line want to get hurt. I hate our strength and conditioning coach. I say this as a guy who has a 4-year degree in kinesiology and actually knows who the strength and conditioning coach is. I don't like him. So if we can get somebody else, that would be fantastic because I get tired of seeing injuries all the time from that position. But you got to be careful with that one. But like you said, I could see that actually happening. So now that's going to be on the radar for me. If a lineman goes down, I'm just going to keep tweeting it away and hope that they see it.
Yeah,
Now the last one here. With training camp, this is going to be a training camp prediction, preseason prediction or whatever. What is the biggest surprise that comes out of training camp and or the preseason that you guys think?
I'll let Pepe.
Oh boy, I swear, if this one's about Jalen Reagor when it's his turn, I'm shutting the camera off. I'm shutting the camera off.
No.
I honestly, so like for me, I wouldn't be surprised. Don't get me wrong. AJ Brown definitely going to be our wide receiver one. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of this year, Devonta Smith is right there with AJ Brown, and we have almost like a Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins type triangle going on, where if the one goes down, we still technically have a one. I wouldn't be surprised by this at all. I think a lot of people are sleeping on that factor, and I just think that Devonta Smith is too good, and now that AJ Brown is there to pull some of the coverage, we're going to see some numbers crank up on that side because he did very well last year. It was just Jamar Chase went bananas. So as a rookie wide receiver, you were like, oh, that's nice. Oh my God, look what Jamar Chase did. So it's just, I think it's going to be very surprising to people, but I think when it gets to the end of the year, it's going to be a neck and neck type thing. I don't think it's going to be, a Randy Moss with the Patriots for AJ Brown and then everybody else. I think it's going to be more neck and neck.
Good answer. Mine's more on coaching. I think what I think we're going to see this year is with the personnel changes on a defense, a more aggressive defense. I think we're going to see a lot more blitzing. I think we're going to see a lot more press coverage now that we have the cornerback solidified with the two guys that we have. So I think Jonathan Gannon opens the book up and plays a more aggressive style defense, given that he has the personnel that he wanted or needed at the time. So big surprise for the year. This defense, you're not going to see these guys 10 yards off of these receivers anymore. You're not going to see a whole game where there's only one blitz. I think Jonathan Gannon gets a little creative and we see a different style of defense being played. I hope.
I was going to say, I hope, because I remember there was a point in the season when people were like, oh, Jonathan Gannon is about to interview for like the Houston Texans. Yeah. And everybody from Philadelphia is commenting like, he's such a good guy. He helped save my dog.
Yeah,
trying to get rid of him. Like, go, get out.
But that's funny. I see a more aggressive defense. I see the defense that we kind of been clamoring for. I don't know how many times last year we were sitting here watching games and we're like, why is he doing that? Why are they so far out? And I mean, we make quarterbacks look like Hall of Famers in some of these games. So I expect them. I hope that he plays a more aggressive, and I think we'll see that. I think we'll see a more aggressive, a more physical, and a more nasty defense than what we had. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, and I'm just going to go with, I think Jalen Hurts starts to take those steps that everyone wants him to take. I think it's going to be a fun year. I think going into the season, week one, I think there's going to be a lot of chatter, a lot of people excited. So, with that, I'm going to shout out some of the sponsors. We have Statement Games, Fun Free Twist on fantasy sports. Tongue twister there. The AATSportsNetwork.com/shop. Check out all the gear, everything. Every link is in the bio. We have Vinny's Pizza, located off the Iroquois Trail, Old Town Shopping Center in Allentown. Visit them today, www.vinnyspizzapa.com. Tell them we sent you. Also, Stuff to the Grills, located in the same shopping center in Allentown, www.stufftothegrills.com. Again, tell them that we sent you. And again, like I said earlier in the show, the link is in the bio. Check out the link for the Washington trip. We want to have some fun, get a lot of people going. So they have 485 people total sign up. They want to try to get up to 1,000 before that, before the game. So,
poor Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
he can't escape us.
It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. So definitely sign up for that. We also have some special news coming next Wednesday. So make sure you're tuning in. Make sure you're following. Also hit the subscribe buttons. Follow us. If you hit the subscribe button for YouTube and you're subscribed, once we get to, is it 1,000 subscribers, Peenut?
1,000.
1,000. We are giving away a signed 16 by 20 Brian Dawkins picture.
Authenticated Brian Dawkins picture.
Authenticated Brian Dawkins. It is from Jeff Warner's personal collection. So it's something that he is giving away for the betterment of this show, network, everything. So it's something that if you love Brian Dawkins, if you want to have an opportunity to win that, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Me? Listen. That's a great gift. So I'm gonna push it to everybody, and then I'm gonna tell them they have to give me the gift. That's all.
Hey, that's fine. You got to work wonders.
Yeah, I'll try.
No, thanks for joining us, Joe. What do you got going on? You got anything to plug or anything you got going on?
So I have the Duncan on Joe show with Club Fantasy. That's once or twice a week, depending on how many times I can get guests on. I have the Tripwire show. We're moving it from Dynasty back to Redraft, and Tripwire is with Triple Play Fantasy. We're moving it into the redraft season now because August is coming up. So we're getting into that. I have a top 5 tight ends that could be found in your tight end 2s coming out for Fantasy Pros. A couple names in there that I'm pretty sure Twitter's going to fight me for, but I'm from South Philly. I'm used to that. It's whatever. But yeah, just, a couple different articles, couple different shows. And then, me and you, we have a Dynasty League coming up somewhat soon. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be real quiet about who I like in Dynasty so you don't snipe me, because I'm pretty sure we're going to be near each other when we're drafting, and I don't like that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything on my end either. Keep nice and quiet. Peenut, what do you got going on? I know you got Birds, Beers, and BS. You got that show.
Yeah, just catch us on Birds, Beers, and BS. We'll be back not this week. We'll be back the following week. Jeff is in Tennessee, visiting family members and sneaking away for SummerSlam.
Family members. Triple H is his cousin.
Yeah, right. No, we'll be back. We'll be back the following week. Yeah, man, that's pretty much that. And yeah, I don't have as much stuff as he got going on.
I don't sleep, man. It's terrible. I'll trade. Yeah.
But no, it's just make sure you're checking out everything on the AATBirds and AAT Sports Network. We have on Mondays Chip and Drip. We have on Wednesdays, of course, this show, AATBirds Weekly Report. We got some fun stuff going on. We also have a special guest next week as well that'll tie into the special announcement. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Check all the socials. You'll start to get some tidbits with that. But on Thursdays, we have Thursdays or Saturday, depends on when they record Across the Pitch. Mike and Dave does the Union Soccer show. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of fun. Of course, Birds, Beers, and BS only can catch that on YouTube though. So make sure you're subscribing because you won't know. Exclusive, YouTube exclusive. But we also will be having Burning Bridges. We'll be coming back with former NFL offensive lineman Jeremy Bridges. Him and I will get back together closer to the season. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Most likely it'll be Tuesday nights, but we haven't ironed that out if it's going to be Tuesday or we're going to stick with doing something on the weekend. But with that, I got nothing else, but the only way we end the show with a, nice fun. Also, we do have a fun commercial that we will be airing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to say that.
I forgot all about that too.
I did too. Manscaped. We also sponsored by Manscaped. You go to www.manscaped.com. Use the code AATBirds for 20% off and free shipping at checkout. And we will end it with a very happy and fun Go Birds leading into a commercial about your nutsack.
Go Birds!
Go Birds! You got Bush? You definitely do if you haven't tried the products from our sponsor today, Manscaped. Taking control of your bush is important. These products are so good, you're going to be showing pride in your new bush-free yard. It's a fact that you will have the best kept nutsack in this sack. Save big and be the most hygienic version of yourself by using the discount code
AATBirds
for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Yo, the grooming package that I recommend, that 4.0, man. Y'all used to drive those 5.0s. Time to drive those 4.0s through your bushes. I'm sorry, you're not an owl. You can't see at night. No need for that. The trimmer has LED lights so you can see in the dark, man. Yo, with that performance purchase, you get 2 free gifts. A a shed travel bag, and the patented high-performance reduced chafing Manscaped boxes. Man, get 20% off free shipping with our code AATBirds at manscaped.com. Stop beating around the bush and beat the bush.